We hear the word detox all the time. I know you do, and I get asked, am I supposed to do a detox? Is detoxing real? I'll actually never forget a TV segment I did where somebody was sitting next to me, another expert, and they said, detoxing's not real, there's no scientific validity to it, and it's completely irrelevant. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. We are detoxing every single day, every single moment. Think about it. If you sweat, that's a way of detoxing. When you go to the bathroom, that's another way of detoxing. And when you sleep at night, you are getting a natural detox. All of that to say, why do doctors say there's no such thing as a detox? I'm not really sure, but let's break down the science and then let's take a second to learn if you might need a detox and what your body is trying to tell you. As we talk through the different signs and symptoms of actually needing a detox, I do want to talk about the research for just a second. So I have two studies here and I'm literally going to read little excerpts from them because so oftentimes doctors question whether detoxing is real. Here's the first one. This review summarizes the research in this area, highlighting the potential for foods and nutrients to support and modulate detoxification functions. And another, these are medical journals, by the way, on PubMed, there is preliminary evidence to suggest that certain foods, such as coriander, nori, artichoke, and dandelion, have detoxification properties, although, of course, the majority of these studies have been done in animals. So, all of that to say, the science is evolving, detoxing is real. It's important for you to understand and recognize the signs and symptoms of needing a detox. All right, here's the science. Basically, we have many different organs of detoxification. The gut, as we have talked about many times over and over again, is ground zero for detoxing. Takes your food, breaks it up, packages it, sends it off to where it needs to be so that your body does what it's supposed to do. Takes the nutrients, uses the fiber, feeds your hormones, your brain, and everything else in between. But if that gut's not healthy and not working very well, or you don't have the right balance of good bacteria in the gut, well, that detox pathway is failing you. But that's just one. The other big organ of detoxification is your liver. In fact, when I go all the way back to medical school, I'm not going to bore you with that. I can open up the diagrams that show us how we have both phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification that take place in the liver. All of these complicated pathways depend on the right nutrients, the right enzymes to make sure the liver does the work it needs to do, takes in everything from the environment and pushes it right back out, only saving what your body needs. So those are your two key organs of detoxification, and I talk a lot about the gut and the liver in these videos right here. Now let's move on. Two more organs of detoxification that I want to touch on, actually three. One is your skin, so that takes us back to sweating and the importance of sweating, and that's one way of eliminating. Your lymphatic system is another. So the lymphatics almost run right over the circulatory system and help us to move toxins out of the body. And when they get stagnant or stuck, then that's when we see the swollen lymph nodes, or we might look a little bit puffy, some of the signs and symptoms that we're going to get into in just a second. In addition to that, there are the kidneys, right? How much you urinate. Again, we need good kidney health if we're going to detox properly. Going back to those medical school books, one of the things we looked at over and over again is how medications were detoxed in both the liver and the kidney because they had to move through those systems effectively to avoid side effects. So yes, detoxing is real, and we want to be able to know when our bodies are needing a detox. It's not just a New Year's fad or a pre-beach weekend thing to do. It's something we should be thinking about over and over again. All right, let's get into it. What are the signs that your body might actually need a detox? The number one sign that I like to rely on to know that my body needs to detox, it's time to help all those organs of detoxification. I get tired, I get foggy. Those are my two signs that I know to go back to over and over again, saying something's off, something's wrong, my body is not working effectively, especially when I've been following all the right diet rules and sort of living in a way that's congruent with a healthy lifestyle. So for all of you out there who are tired and fatigued. There could be something literally clogging up one of these organs of detoxification and leading to that loss of energy. So that's a big one. Well, if that's a little bit too vague and you may be saying, well, I'm always tired. How do I know? I can't detox all the time. Well, let's get a little bit more particular, right? Brain fog is a common sign of having a high toxic load. This could be toxins from your own body, from the foods that you eat, or even from our environment. So that's another sign that you can look at as a potential issue when it comes to detoxing, right? A sign that your body might need to detox. Moving on from that, weird rashes, right? The rash on your arms, breaking out in eczema or hives, even breaking out on your face. All of those are potential signs of needing a detox. We know that the skin is a way of the body expressing itself. So when we start to see rashes, we know that that organ of detoxification is struggling and needs a little bit of support. We've talked about fatigue. We've talked about brain fog. We've talked about rashes. Let's talk about another one, just getting puffy. Have you ever woken up one morning after a big night or a big meal out and you're just puffy, like your face looks puffy? If you press on like your fingers or your legs, you can almost create a little indentation there. Well, your lymphatic system is struggling. It might be too much salt, maybe too many additives or preservatives, or a little bit too much alcohol, maybe the night before. All of that clogs up the systems of detoxification, especially your liver and your lymphatics, which is why you wake up super puffy. Now, if you are puffy all the time, right, if it's a daily thing and you feel like you always have sort of this fluid retention, then that's a sign that you really need a detox, and we need to support your lymphatics and support your liver so that your body can move all this stuff through. Okay, let's keep going. I have a couple more that I want you to be aware of before we talk about maybe what to do if you're seeing some of these signs and symptoms of needing a detox. Let's go back to Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. They use the face and the tongue as ways of assessing whether or not to detox the body. Let's take a look at your face. You can do this with me. If you are seeing dark under eye circles, right, or a very rough texture to the skin, that is a sign that your body needs a detox. Why? Because the under eye area was often associated with the liver in both Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine. So maybe take a look at your eye area. Do you need a detox? It may be telling you so, and it's time to jump right in. All right, another place where we can look is our tongue. Stick your tongue out. I wish I could do it and talk at the same time, but I can't. Stick your tongue out at me. And one of the things we can look for on the tongue is a darkening area. If that tongue looks dark, almost kind of purplish in the middle of the tongue, the liver is struggling. It needs help. It needs a detox. Something is not working. In Chinese medicine, they talk about that as liver stasis or liver meridian imbalance, stagnation, meaning the energy is not moving through the liver. And your tongue was an easy way to assess that. Lastly, on that tongue, if you have a thick coat, especially a yellow coat, then your gut's not working very well. And remember, the gut is one of those key organs of detoxification. So that is sort of the package that you can use to assess whether or not your body is having an issue with detoxing. Whether the gut needs help, the liver needs help, your skin, your lymphatics, or your kidneys need some support. And yes, detoxing is real. So in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, a detox was daily, right? Let's talk through this. So it meant sleeping consistently at night, getting at least 7 to 8 hours of consistent sleep, because it was an opportunity for the body to power down, to rest and reboot. That was a form of detoxification. In addition to that, exercising or moving was a form of detoxification. It helped both the lymphatics and the circulatory system, but not kind of in the way we think about it today, right? Where we're out there and we're pounding the pavement, or we're doing HIIT, or we're doing that 1 hour workout and boom, we think we're done. Not necessarily in that way, but more so where you're moving throughout the day, because that would move your lymphatics and that would force your body to move all throughout the day, providing a gentle detox. There are many modalities and techniques like dry brushing, which served as a way of detoxing the body as well. And then, of course, they would go through fasting intervals, because fasting served as a way for the body to detox itself. If we're thinking about how to detox, and we're confining ourselves more to thinking about how to detox in a given day. Well, here are your rules. Make sure you sleep consistently at night, drink plenty of water, right? At least 100 ounces a day, move in 10-minute increments throughout the day, maybe incorporate a little bit of dry brushing to stimulate those lymphatics, and most of all, watch the quality of the foods you're eating, because at the end of the day, that cumulative load will determine your body's ability to detox for the long haul. Now, many times we want to do like a 3-day or a 10-day or even a 28-day detox, right? Those are more formal plans, and we have to be careful with those. In those, we are supporting the gut and supporting the liver while we're taking out many of the things that are stimulating us and causing many of these organs to not work well. So, for example, you may need a program that takes out inflammatory foods, but at the same time supports the liver using things like milk thistle. Right here beside me, I have dandelion greens and artichoke roots. We love dandelion greens because they do help liver function, while artichokes are rich in prebiotics, which support the gut. So if you're planning on a detox, you want to make sure, if it's going to be longer than about 10 days or so, you want to make sure you're on a program that's taking into account how are you going to support the liver, how are we going to support the gut, and how are we going to bring the overall load of inflammation down while still getting the nutrients and the protein and the healthy fats that you need. Some of you have asked me about things like water fasting and what I think about that. And again, many of these things should be very limited, very short term. You can do a water fast for a day, maybe 2 days at the most. But if you're doing it past that 3rd day, then I worry that you're getting your body into what we call a breakdown state, where you're simply not getting the protein, the nutrients, and the other things that the body needs to heal and to function effectively. So at the end of the day, understanding that, first of all, detoxing is real. We're doing it right here as we speak. And yes, it is something that all of us, including our medical providers, need to be aware of, because we learned it in medical school. And then we need to be able to assess, does our body need a detox? Use my signs and symptoms to help you understand and recognize whether your body needs a break and needs an opportunity to heal, to reboot, before you keep forcing it to power through. All right, I hope that's helpful in understanding the role of detoxing in the body, what are signs and symptoms of needing a detox, and how to begin at least a daily program of detoxification before you commit to some of the longer ones. All right, don't forget, I post new videos every week. Don't forget to like and subscribe.